Welcome, folks, to another live stream with me, Professor Heather Austin. I'm so excited to join you guys today. We have a massive masterclass planned for you. So you're definitely going to want to take notes. You're going to want to stick around until the end because what I'm sharing with you today is going to change everything about your job search. So today we are talking about how to get hired, insider tips to write a resume that lands you more interviews and better job offers. Who doesn't want more of that, right? And here's the thing, when I have my Yeti, it's cold. It's 4 degrees where I'm at. So we had to break out the Yeti today, and hopefully my hands are really actually freezing. So hopefully we warm up while we are doing the master class today. Jump into the chat. Let me know where you're joining us from today. Say hello. I'm so happy to see all you guys. We had a lot of you join us earlier today. I would also love to know, we sent out text messages for this event. This was the very first time we've done text messages. If you signed up to get a text message, did you get that message? Let me know in the chat if you got it. I want to say hello to some of you guys here. It looks like we have Arizona in the house, Roxy from Georgia, Ruby from Florida, Carrie, hello, so happy to have you. Michelle is here, James is here, Ed, Gary, happy to have you as well. Tracy, Martinez, AJ, Guy, Jeff, John, all of you guys are here. I'm so happy to see you. Helen is here, so happy to see you guys as well. Say hello in the chat if you haven't already done so. Let me know if you got our text message about this event. We are going to jump right into it. So I have some massive slides planned for you. And don't get scared by the word massive. It just means a lot of content that you are going to be able to walk away with some amazing action steps and some hopefully landing more interviews and better job offers. So let's go ahead and jump into the slides today. I'm going to keep watching you guys in the chat while we just go through today's content. So get hired now, insider tips to write a resume that lands you more interviews and better job offers. I'm going to be doing live resume reviews at the very end. We get hundreds of resumes submitted for this show. And by the way, it takes us a while to kind of sort through the ones and decide which ones we want to review, but I have some amazing resumes to review. I wish I could review all of yours. If I didn't select yours to review, I'd stick around until the end because I do have a special offer for you that you're definitely going to want to hear about. And it's actually a never before seen offer. So stick around for that. Now, you guys have already told me where you are joining us from. If you haven't yet already, type that in. But also what I want to know is, what do you hope to get out of today's training? Okay. As you guys are typing that in, I'm going to tell you a quick story about myself so that you know who I am. So I am actually a university professor turned entrepreneur, career strategy expert. Okay. Career strategy is one of my favorite, most passionate topics. Now, when I was 21, I actually had a dream of going to graduate school. And at the time, I didn't realize how hard it would be to get accepted to graduate school. In fact, I ended up taking the GMAT, which is the graduate admissions test to get into graduate school. I ended up taking it 3 times and I failed all 3 times. And I was super discouraged. I remember coming home and just crying on my 3rd attempt. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to let this stop me. I bravely walked into the program chair's office and I said, hey, look, I suck at test taking, but I know I want to come to graduate school here. I know I want to eventually one day become a professor. And he said, hey, let's talk about provisional admittance and what are your real goals and aspirations and so on and so forth. Anyway, he ended up accepting me to the program. And the reason why I tell you this is because at that time, I felt that I was at the lowest of the low. And over the years, I've been able to overcome a lot of challenges and a lot of struggles, including not being able to take tests. Now, if I would have given up at that point, that 3rd attempt to take the test, and by the way, I'd studied for over a year, okay? Most people study for a couple weeks, they go and they take the test and they're good. Well, if I would have stopped there, I would have never started my channel, Professor Heather Austin. I would not be sitting in front of you today, helping you find work you love. I would have never reached over 16 million views on my channel. I would have never been invited to speak at leadership events across the country. I would have never been invited to be a guest on popular podcasts discussing all things career related. And I would have never been able to help my clients and students land interviews and job offers at top companies like Google, Amazon, Facebook, JP Morgan, Disney, and Harvard, okay? So the reason why I tell you guys this today is because I want you to know that anything's possible. Now, here's the other thing. If I would have given up all those years ago, I would have never been able to teach these people how to overcome challenges and how to really step out from those challenges and find work that they love and find meaningful work and build an amazing life for themselves. This is my family, by the way. We have 4 beautiful kids. My teenagers are taller than me now. My husband's 6 feet. You can tell I'm not very tall. And we've got some goofy monkeys. I call these my boys wild monkeys, because they are. So anyway, what I want you guys to take away from today's training, I want you to remember, before we get into all the juicy details I'm about to share with you, that you deserve to make a real impact in your industry. You deserve to be involved in something bigger than yourself, okay? Not just trying to get a job, but really trying to land a position where you're thriving, doing work you love, and making a difference, okay? Just like all the people that I've been able to help over the years. So let me kind of see where you guys are and what you hope to get out of this training. And by the way, pop questions in. Tori is here. By the way, Tori hasn't been on our live stream with us for quite a while, but she is my amazing assistant. She has been with me, Tori, I don't even know how many years it's been, but it's probably been 4 or 5. I love her so much, and she's here moderating the chat. She's going to be answering some questions. She's also going to be getting questions in front of me so that I can answer those questions as well. Let's see. Tim's here to get more interviews and get a new job. I love it. Catherine says, I'm always on the lookout for inspiration. That's why I join these live sessions. Oh, thanks, Catherine. Let's see. Tavanisha says, I'm hoping to learn how to translate my military career to civilian, especially since I've worn many hats. Oh, I love that. Okay, so let me share with you guys a couple of just quick stories so that you can kind of see what's possible after today's training. So Letitia wrote in and said she actually attended one of my resume writing masterclasses. She said, I got a job offer in 24 hours. She says, and I'm still getting job offers. I submitted and updated my resume. She goes, thank you, Heather. Let's see. Tim wrote in and said, I used all of your, this is at the point where I have to get my glasses on. The text is, I should blow up my screen. Tim says, used all of the advice in this video and not only landed a job interview after sending in my resume and cover letter, I got a job. He says, after watching this video, I could see how your format was a little more direct and to the point, short and sweet. Lydia wrote in and said, on every job I applied, I got an interview. Finally, on the 3rd interview, I got a job offer with an increase. So this is what we are hoping for you guys, right? After today's training. Ashley says, I just wanted to leave a review and say I discovered your channel senior year of college looking for a job to start my career. She says, all the different resumes I had was getting me nowhere until I tried your template and format, which, by the way, it is like my secret sauce, you guys. She says, ever since then, I got my first job, and 2 years later, she said, I landed an even bigger position with the same template again. So this is what I hope for you guys as we are going through today's training. Before I jump into what we're going to actually talk about and all the amazing things you're going to learn, put your phones on Do Not Disturb, close all the necessary tabs, grab a pen and a notepad, because this is your time to do some real learning. Now, I have a bonus for you at the very end. Now, we have never done bonuses like this, and we have never had an offer like this, okay? But if you stick around until the end, I'm going to share with you where you can get a free career strategy consultation with me and my team and a free resume analysis, okay? So, type into the chat if any of this sounds familiar to you, okay? If this is kind of something that you're like, yes, this sounds like me, okay? You're not sure how to update your resume to fit every job you've applied for, okay? Maybe the constant editing is so time consuming that you're thinking, shouldn't this be easier by now, okay? Or maybe you're not sure what to include or what to leave out of your resume, okay? Maybe you've had years of experience, but you don't know how to narrow it all down, okay? Type yes if any of this sounds familiar. Or maybe you're just uncertain about the wording of your resume. Okay, I know I get a lot of questions about this. You want it to sound interesting and engaging, but you don't want to keyword stuff it and you don't want it to sound fluffy or confusing, right? So type yes in the chat if that sounds like you. While you guys are typing that in, let me do a quick rundown of what we're going to cover today. First, we're going to talk about how to build a clean, concise resume that is applicant tracking system compliant. We're going to talk about how to write an attention-grabbing resume summary that hits employer-specific pain points. We're going to talk about how to quickly customize your resume to fit almost any job, even if you are making a career transition or if you have employment gaps. We're going to talk about how to write achievement statements that showcase your skills and your expertise. And then finally, we're going to talk about how to properly use artificial intelligence, AI, to help you streamline the entire resume writing process, okay? So I've loaded these slides with some amazing new concepts, new ideas, new stories. You guys are going to definitely want to stick around for all of the information I'm going to share with you. I'm seeing lots of yeses in the chat. Let's see, Taryn says how to include contract work. We'll talk a little bit about that. Adrian says yes. Someone said, Carolyn says yes. Nikki says yes. Okay, you guys are in the right place if that stuff sounds familiar, okay? Now, let's go ahead and one more question for you. I want to know before I get into step number one, what's your dream job title? Okay, so if you were to pick your favorite position or your dream position, type into the chat what your dream job title is, okay? While you guys are typing that in, let's go ahead and jump into step number one, which is building a clean, concise resume that is applicant tracking system compliant. So I'm going to share a couple of ideas with you that I want you to consider today. What I'm sharing with you does not just apply to applicant tracking systems. This applies to a human reader, a recruiter, a hiring manager, a CEO, your future employer, whoever it is. These tips aren't just ATS compliant. These are also standard resume writing tips. As someone that looks at hundreds of resumes every single week, these are tips that apply for a human reader, okay? So let's first talk about, I get this question a lot, what the heck is an applicant tracking system or an ATS? Well, there's a few things I want you to think about with it. It's actually pretty simple. It's a software application that streamlines the hiring process and evaluates your level of candidacy, okay? So basically, it's a system that companies and hiring managers use to determine how well you will fit in a certain position, okay? Now, there's a couple things you need to do to get past that applicant tracking system, or let's say to make your resume ATS friendly, okay? The very first thing I want you to think about is a 4-part framework, okay? So we're gonna break your resume up into 4 parts. We're gonna look at the top half, we're going to look at your work experience, which comes after the top half. We're going to look at education and training. And then we're also going to look at skills and other sections. So really, this is the 4-part framework to every single successful resume. Now, depending on your experience and the position, you may be intertwining these. I mean, the top half is always going to stay the top half, but you may be switching around sections. I'm going to show you guys when I do the reviews what I mean by how fluid your resume can be and how it can change over time, okay? So let's first evaluate the top half. So I'm going to actually pull my face off the screen for just 1 second here because I know it's blocking the top half of this resume. So I'm going to just go like that so you guys can see it. So when we look at the top half, we're looking at your contact information. That's really, really, really basic and simple. That's something you guys should all have. You're going to have your headline. You're going to have 3 key skills, and then you're going to have a professional summary, okay? So pretty simple, right? Like that's a pretty basic thing to think about. Now, the next part that I want you to look at, and by the way, we're going to jump into the summary in more detail in just a second. The next part to this is your experience section. That normally falls right under the summary unless you're a recent grad. If you're a recent grad, the education section comes first, okay? But how I want you to think of this is everything needs to be accomplishment oriented. It needs to be results driven, how the best you can make it results driven, keyword heavy, and then quantifiable. I'm going to break down each of these in just a second so that you know what the heck I'm talking about, okay? Now, the third part to this is your education and your training. So again, we're talking about the basic structure for ATS and human reader. When it comes to your education, make sure you're accurate and honest. You can add things like academic awards. You can add relevant coursework if you haven't yet completed a degree, or if you attended college years ago and you have some related coursework, you can add that in there. You can add clubs or societies. Get creative with your education section if you're a recent grad. If not, all you need to have is your school name, your degree, the degree type, and when your education was completed, okay? Now, the next part to this is your skills and other sections. Now, I want you to keep in mind with this slide that I have here, I'm showing you guys a 2-page resume. I'll mention it right now because I know this is a question that will come up. When it comes to the length of your resume, if you have less than 7 years of experience, you're sticking to a 1. If you have more than 7 years, you're going to have a 2-page. Keep in mind, I'm showing you the second page because I'm showing you what's possible and what other sections you can add to your resume. My number one go-to section after education is technical skills. I love placing that section on a resume. I feel like, especially right now, especially with everyone, in the recent past, working remote, like we have to have an emphasis on our technical skills. So I love that one. In addition to that, you can also have a section called professional skills. You can have volunteer experience. You can have professional memberships. You can have language competencies. You can have awards and honors. You don't have to have all of these, but what you have to do is you have to decide what section best suits me. Which one should I add to my resume that's going to highlight my best self? You're not going to have all these, and you're not going to have the same as Jane and John and all the other people out there, okay? You're going to have what's specific to you. So keep that in mind. This is just an example of what you could include on your resume. Now, my next question for you, of those 4 parts that I just shared with you, we have the top half, the work experience, your education and special skills. Which one would you say needs the most work on your resume? Okay, type that into the chat. Now, the other thing that I want to quickly demonstrate here is just the formatting and how easy and simple the formatting needs to be. This is again for ATS, but human reader as well. When I'm looking at a resume, I want to see nice, clear headlines. I want to see some bold. I don't want to see italics. Okay, we're not going to include italics anywhere, but I do want to see bold. Some things can be capitalized, like you'll notice in this example, we have headlines capitalized. We have the position titles and the company bold. And then we have our dates. So again, keep in mind the formatting. You want it to be nice, crisp, and clean. You want to have a nice, consistent margin. You want to use a nice font. And by the way, you guys, the offer that I have for you at the very end, it's for a brand new resume writing course that we just created. And it goes into detail into all of this stuff, like your margins, your fonts, your white space, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give you a couple final reminders when it comes to ATS. At the end of the day, no columns or tables, no images, charts, or graphics. Okay. Use clear hierarchy, which I showed you guys in that example. Use keywords. Use easy to read fonts. Okay. So at the end of the day, this is what a nice ATS resume will look like. Okay. ATS friendly, or otherwise known as a human reader. Okay. Let me see where you guys are, because I have another question for you. Okay. A lot of people are mentioning work experience. Vicky said job summary. Let's see. Nikki says awards and volunteer work. Miga says experience. Jessica says work experience. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of work experience. By the way, I'm going to share with you guys more on the summary and the work experience section in just a minute. Awesome. And if you guys have questions, pop those in. I will be answering those as we go. Someone asked a question about how to reflect gaps in employment. Here's the thing. I actually just created a brand new module in our new resume writing course all about this. And I think I take 10 minutes to explain it. So I want you to stick around to hear about that course. And at the end, I may even touch on that. Okay. So in the chat, is your resume ATS compliant? Type ATS into the chat if your resume is ATS compliant, okay? So all those things that I just shared with you, does it follow the ATS compliancy rules, okay? Now, I want to share a quick story with you guys. This is Troy, who actually used our resources, and he goes on to say that he says, I revised my resume and updated my LinkedIn profile, applied for 3 positions, and received an interview and an offer from my favorite potential employer in just 1 week. Okay. He goes on to say that he heard back from the other 2 companies as well, but he ended up choosing his first choice company. His interviewer told him that his resume hit every single need that they had. And then he also heard from a coworker later on that his resume stood out among 50 to 60 other resumes. Okay. So this is my hope for you guys. Okay, step number 2, let's talk about how to write an attention-grabbing resume summary that hits employer-specific pain points. So remember, your resume summary is going to be one of the most important key sections on your resume. So regardless of what you hear out there online, I want you to include a resume summary. If you're not landing interviews and you don't have a summary on your resume, put one on there and just see what happens, okay? So I'm going to share with you guys how to actually write the summary. Now, does anyone watch The Office in here? Type yes in the chat if you guys are an Office fan. I haven't watched it in a really long time, but Michael on the show, he has this saying. He says, I am Beyonce always, okay? And the reason why I love this is because he's saying, I am Beyonce always. And by the way, I want you to think of your summary in this way, because he knows that Beyonce is known for her powerful stage presence, that she has a commanding personality, right? He's also saying this because he wants to appear like he's in control and confident, right? So he says, I am Beyonce always. He's trying to exhibit her strong, charismatic, and self-assured persona. Well, I want you guys to think of your summary as I am Beyonce always, okay? In fact, she has a stage name. I think it's like Sasha Fierce or something. I can't remember if you guys are Beyonce fans. Anyway, this is what your resume is. Your summary, okay? So let's look at how we're going to make it I am Beyonce always. So the very first thing we're always going to start with is some sort of title, okay? This is going to be the title of the position or some title really similar. I'm going to go all in and I'm just going to say, put the title of the position in this spot. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to add 3 key skills that directly relate to the job title. So in this example, we have client services, customer relationship management, and we also have account management. Well, if those words are not showing up in the job posting, you are not going to include those at the top. You need to pick words that are in the job posting and you're going to pop those at the top. The other thing I want to dive into here is don't just use leadership and problem solving. Those are too generic. We need to have very specific skills that relate to the job that not everyone has, okay? The next thing after your 3 key skills is you're going to use some action words or adjectives to describe that position or you're describing you. In this case, it says reliable, energetic, and resourceful. If those 3 words are not in the job description, do not put those in your resume. You're going to pull adjectives that they use to describe their ideal person. They might use innovative, dynamic, creative, self-starter, yada, yada, yada. That's what you're going to put in there, okay? It's pretty easy. Now, after that, you're going to talk a little bit more about your experience, okay? And you're going to talk about, you could mention the number of years of experience that you have and what your greatest accomplishment has been in this area, okay? By the way, you guys, I am sharing my secret sauce to the summary. This is it. This exactly what I'm telling you right now, okay? Now, after that, you're going to talk about your specialty and what makes you so unique or what makes you an expert, okay? So you can use words like ability to, yada, yada, yada. And then notice I end it with expertise in. So you could say ability to, and then give us what it is that you're an expert in or what makes you stand out from the other candidates, so on and so forth. And then you're going to say expertise in, and then list what your expertise is. It's that simple, you guys. This is what the summary should look like. I don't want to see a big, huge, long, drawn out summary. It needs to be something that is 3 to 4 to 5 sentences. I would say 4 to 5 is kind of pushing it. But this is your pitch. This is your sales pitch. And in our brand new Resume Mastery course, I explain this in detail about how this basically becomes your 30-second pitch. Now, my next question to you, what 3 key skills can you add to your resume? Okay, so think about the top of the summary and you're going to have your job title. Under that job title, what 3 key skills can you add? And if you don't want to add all 3 or type all 3 into the chat, just give me one, okay? While you guys are typing that in, I want you to meet Pam. So Pam wrote in and said, Heather's resources were by far the best. She prepped some more, and she kept a chart of the positions that she applied for. She goes on to say, I applied for 11. I heard back from 8. I was offered 3. Okay, so here's Pam's unique circumstance. She actually wrote in to me and said, Heather, I didn't realize that age discrimination was a real thing until I started looking for a new job. She goes, I'm 59 years old. I didn't even think that was real. I heard about it, but I didn't realize. Well, she went in, she did her homework, she used the resources, she actually got, if you do the math on this, it's a 75% callback with 3 job offers, okay? So if Pam can do this, you guys, you can do it as well. And that's why I want to share her story with you. Let's see where you guys are in terms of, oh, awesome. I love it. Gee Guy says, or is it G Guy? I don't even know how to pronounce that. Says communication. April says dependable and punctual. Green Pearl says contract clause analysis. I like that. Nikita says great with groups. Let's see. I have customer service, trouble, ticket management, and administrative support. Oh, those are good ones. Procurement, communication, awesome. Strategic thinking. I'm seeing some really good ones in there. Keep typing them in, you guys. Okay, while you're typing your skills in, let's go into step number 3, which is how to quickly customize your resume, okay? So I actually just gave you a tip in step 2. That's one way to customize your resume with your summary. But what I want to give you guys now is a formula that I want you to think about. I want you to think about your research on the position, keywords that are sticking out to you, and then a direct correlation. Like, how do those keywords and now how do your experience match up? Okay. So I'm going to share just a quick, easy method for you guys to do this. Okay. So when it comes to research, we're looking at everything we can about the company. We're interviewing people on the inside. We're looking at their social media posts. We're attending their earnings calls. We are looking at their LinkedIn page, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Whatever you can learn about the company you're doing. Okay. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to look for common keywords or keyword phrases that are showing up in the job posting. Again, I need my glasses for this one because this writing's a little bit small. So this is a position that I recently found at Google. It's for a cloud field sales representative. All we're doing here is we're looking at what are the common keywords or keyword phrases that are showing up in this posting. Of course, you would be looking for positions that match up with you, okay? You're looking at someone, they want someone that can plan, pitch, and execute business strategy. They want someone that is excited to be part of an entrepreneurial team. They want someone that can promote sales in software or Google Cloud technologies. So these are things that they're mentioning frequently in the job posting. Well, I got to make sure they're in my resume. And more importantly, I got to make sure that when I go into my interview, I'm talking about these things, okay? Now, from here, I want to show you kind of a quick, all I'm going to do here is I'm going to now make a direct correlation where I'm going to say, oh yeah, well, I can successfully track record in meeting and exceeding quarterly business goals. Okay. So I'm going to use that as one of my statements. Experience promoting sales and software, Google Cloud technologies. I'm going to use that as one of my statements in my resume. Experience working in cross-functional teams and serving as the primary customer. Like, I'm going to use that, right? So you're now looking at what are they mentioning in the job posting and making sure that it is mentioned inside of your resume, okay? It's pretty simple. It's just a quick evaluation. Now, I'm going to show you guys in just a minute how to use artificial intelligence to make this process so much easier. But hold on for now because we like it when things are easy, right? Another question for you guys. On a scale of 1 to 10, how often do you tailor your resume? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how often do you tailor your resume? Yes, I'm seeing some awesome skills in there. So good, you guys. I love it. Okay, I want to introduce you to someone else. I want you guys to meet Lisa. So Lisa is actually a registered nurse. And believe it or not, I didn't know it was possible for registered nurses to find remote work, 100% remote work position. But when I met Lisa and we started working together, I was like, that's awesome. Anyway, so Lisa, what ended up happening with her is she ended up receiving and accepting a job offer for a new position all in just one day. Okay. So she said, I applied last Monday. I got the call and offer on Friday. Okay. She goes on to say that she's totally amazed because she just tailored the top half of her resume. She didn't even fix the rest of it. She sent her resume in. They saw her immediately, called her, said, we want to interview you on Friday. They interviewed her on Friday and she got the offer that same day. She says, it just proves what you say about the top half of your resume being so important. She goes, I can't thank you enough. So again, you guys, all these stories that I'm sharing with you, this is what we want to have happen to you. Okay, let's jump into, let me see where you guys are in the chat. Okay, I'm actually seeing higher numbers than normal. I'm seeing a lot of 10s. So most of you guys are tailoring your resume to the position, which is awesome. I'm seeing just a few ones and twos. That's okay. Just take what we just talked about, and that's what you're going to do to tailor your resume. Okay, let's look really quickly at step number 4, and this is your achievement statements. Okay, so I want you to think of your achievement statements sort of as like the backbone of your resume. Okay, so this is really what hiring officials look for to see if you have the track record to really perform on the job. Okay, so we got to really look at how are you going to showcase your skills and your talents and your abilities, and it's through achievement statements. Okay, so I want to share another formula with you. By the way, are you guys taking notes? This replay is a 2-day replay. So make sure you're taking some really good notes. And you can always revisit this if you need to in the next day or so. But second formula that I want to share with you is action verb plus task plus result. Okay. This is a very simple formula that you can use to create those achievement statements. Now, before I actually get into a couple of examples with you, I want to share with you guys how you're going to quantify. Okay. So when we look at a lot of questions I get is, hey, I'm in this industry. I don't know how to quantify what I've done. It's really hard. There are some industries that are really easy to quantify, like if you're in the sales industry. That one's pretty easy, okay? But there are some others that aren't as easy. I want you to look at quantifying your achievements in two ways. I want you to look at quantitative, and I also want you to look at qualitative. So if I'm going to add like a quantity to something, I can add numbers, dollars, percentages, time, or frequency. However, I can also show my results through qualitative. Okay, so that again would be promotions, honors, awards, recognitions, or acknowledgments in some way. Now, those are a little bit harder to add data or numbers to. Okay, but just keep in mind that if you're having a hard time coming up with those statements for your resume, you have two avenues that you can look at. Now, let me give you guys an example. So here's an example of a statement that someone wrote on their resume. Helped increase sales at XYZ company by 20%. Well, you might say, well, hey, Heather, this has a number in it. So they are getting that data in there, right? But I want this to sound even better, okay? Instead, I want to say led sales team at XYZ to increase revenue by 20% in 6 months through the implementation of a new sales strategy and training program. So you'll notice now that I have like a basic statement that says helped increase sales, and I'm now turning it into whatever. What I want you to think about is if I were to say helped increase sales, what did you do to help increase sales? Like, give me those exact steps, okay? And then you give me the 20%, but is there a timeline that you can add to that now? So it wasn't just 20%, it was 20% in a 6-month time frame, okay? So that's really how you need to think about your achievement statements on your resume. Now, I have another example for you. Implemented a new software system at XYZ company, okay? Or you could even say helped implement a new software system, okay? Well, let's make this even better. We're going to say spearheaded the successful implementation of a new software system at XYZ. And then that's great because that's telling me my action steps and the tasks. But then what's the result? Well, the result is resulting in a 20% increase in productivity, and we're not just giving it the increase in productivity, a 15% increase in error or reduction in errors. So does this make sense to you guys? If you can follow the action verb plus task plus result formula, you can give us your action verb. And again, action verbs are anything like organized, implemented, increased, enhanced, advised, so on and so forth. And then you're telling us what that task is, and then you're giving us the result. Now, you could always switch and give us the result first and then the task, which is totally fine. But again, if we look at these examples, we're giving them the action verb, we're giving them the task, and then we're giving them the result, okay? Does that make sense to you guys? Hopefully you're getting this. Okay, really quickly, take a screenshot of this as well. This is something that I've used with my clients and students when they have a hard time coming up with those achievement statements. Look at it as this. You're going to say, I did this, and what is that thing that you did? And the outcome was, and then list the outcome, okay? Or you can even say, I did this, and it resulted in this, okay? So all you're thinking about is, what was that task? What was the outcome or the result, okay? If you can get those put together on your resume, it's going to make it so much easier when you go into an interview and you now have to start talking about what the heck it is you did and why you can provide so much value to that company, okay? Okay, next question for you guys. What is one thing that sets you apart from others? Okay, so if I were to interview you right now and I were to ask you a question similar, what's one thing that sets you apart from everyone else that does what you do? Okay, type into the chat. And as we're thinking about our achievement statements, hopefully some of that stuff is coming to the surface, and I want you to type that in. Okay, brand new concept for you guys here today. This is going to blow your mind, okay? If you do not have access to this, if you have not heard about this, and if you've fallen asleep or you're distracted by something else, tune back in because this is going to change everything, okay? How to properly use artificial intelligence to help you streamline the entire resume writing process. So do you guys want your resume to take you 10 hours? Or do you want your resume to take you 10 minutes? Okay. Well, okay, 10 minutes is a stretch, but let's say 30 minutes. Okay. Well, pay attention. Okay. I'm going to share with you guys a 3-part system to follow when it comes to using artificial intelligence. And then I'm going to show you how to actually use it. Okay. So pay attention here. The very first thing you're going to do is pinpoint relevant skills, and AI will help you do that. Okay. So this is where we're going to identify important skills and experiences required for the position. Okay. Next thing, and this is so simple, you guys, highlight qualifications. Okay. This is where we're going to now take your experience and we're going to highlight the qualifications to bring to light or to catch the attention of hiring managers and recruiters. And by the way, AI will help you with this. It will tell you exactly what to do. Okay. And then the third part to this is creating results-driven achievement statements. So remember that formula and all that stuff that I just taught you? Well, you guys are now going to have an idea of what you're putting on your resume, but we're going to go to AI and we're going to ask it for help to help us polish and clean it all up, okay? So if you guys have not yet heard of this, and let me know in the chat if any of you, I know my Academy students have, because we did a full tutorial on this a couple weeks ago. So if you guys are here, type yes. If you've ever used some sort of AI or chat.openai.com or Chat GPT, okay? Type into the chat if you've ever used this or if you've heard of it. It is going to revolutionize everything that I am teaching you guys today. Okay. While you guys are typing that in, yes, oh good, okay, I'm seeing some yeses. Tim's awesome. Tim's in the Academy. Renee says, yep. Okay, good. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys exactly what you need to do to actually use this resource. Now, keep in mind, when you go here, there is so much traffic on this site that you probably aren't going to be able to get in right now. You basically have to go log in and you have to wait for it to be ready for you. And then it will let you in and you can start asking it questions. Okay. Think of it as like Google on steroids and with a personality. Okay. That's kind of how I look at this. So let me show you guys what you're going to do. So you're going to create your account. You're going to go to Chat GPT. And by the way, this is like one of the most sophisticated forms of artificial intelligence in the form of a chatbot. There are plenty of other resources out there. This is just the one that's getting the most attention. It's the one that I'm using on a daily. In fact, I said to my husband, I'm like, Chat GPT is my new boyfriend because it really is like that's how it makes you feel. Anyway, not that it gives you Anyway, okay, so let's go through each of these steps. So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to pinpoint relevant skills that are listed in the position, okay? So all you're going to do, you're going to go to Chat GPT. You have a little box at the bottom where you're going to enter your question. Super easy, okay? I'm going to give you guys some ideas to ask questions, but this is the most important step. If you guys want real answers and really good results, you've got to ask it really good questions, okay? So I'm going to just give you some ideas on questions that you can ask it, okay? So what I'm going to say is, hey, what are the most important skills for this position? And then I'm going to paste the job description, okay? So you've got to give it as much information as possible. You could even ask questions like, which skills are mentioned most frequently in the job listing, okay? You could even ask, how can I tailor my resume to the specific skills required for this job, okay? But for this, we're keeping this simple because I don't want to overwhelm you guys. What are the most important skills for this position? And then we paste the job description in. Well, what ends up happening is it gives you the most relevant skills based on its analysis, okay? So in this case, I actually popped in a position for VP physical sales and marketing at Warner Music Group, okay? So it's going in and it's saying, oh, well, this person or whoever, this job is asking for strong leadership, strong analytical, strategic thinking, strong knowledge of the music industry, yada, yada, yada. Well, now I'm going to take these things and I'm going to say, oh, crap, I better have these in my resume, or I better have really good interview answers to this when I go in and I go to my interview, okay? Well, the next thing I want you to think about, so we're going to probe even more. So this is the second step to our process here, is we now want to highlight your qualifications, okay? So here's a question that I can ask Chat GPT now. Hey, how can I showcase my achievements and qualifications in the best light? And then I paste my resume. Now you have to give it as much information as possible in order for it to give you really good results, okay? So far it has the job description, and now so far we're giving it our resume, okay? So I just took one of my clients' resumes and I popped it in there, and now it's saying, hey, if you want to showcase your best light for this position, you need to use specific and quantifiable metrics, okay, which we talked about. You need to highlight your leadership experience. You need to emphasize results that you've achieved, such as yada, yada, yada. And the list goes on and on and on, okay? Now, here's the thing I want you guys to remember, and I'm going to mention this in just a second, is some of this information is super general. So if you can keep probing and asking the right questions, it will give you what you need to make to help you enhance your resume, okay? Now, let me take you to the next step, and that is to create your results-driven achievement statements, okay? So it has my resume, it has the job posting, I'm on the same chat, and I'm going to say, hey, write 3 to 4 results-driven achievement statements using my resume and the job description, okay? And then it has all of that, and then notice what happens. It basically just popped 4 achievement statements out to me that I could now take and put onto my my resume, okay? Here's the thing, you guys. If this does not blow your mind, I don't know what will, but this is like revolutionizing everything, okay? So this is going to change the way you write your resume. It's going to change the way I help my clients. This is a game changer. So I would love to see all of you guys at least take a few minutes today, create an account if you don't already have one, go in and play around with it a little bit, okay? And start like trying to flesh out some of these ideas that we've talked about today. Now, here's the other thing I want to mention. It doesn't give you nice, beautiful templates like what I give you, okay, or in my programs and in my courses. So what I want to encourage you to do is use Chat GPT to get the information that you need. I want you to come back over and grab my resume templates. And by the way, inside of our resume mastery course, which I'm going to tell you guys about in just a second, we have templates for all of this, every single situation that you could possibly think of, career changers, gaps, new students, experienced professionals. And you're going to take that information now and you're going to make it and pop it into an ATS friendly, human readable resume that starts getting noticed and starts catching attention, okay? Just like the stories that I've shared with you guys so far today. Now, I do want to give you some dangers of using AI or Chat GPT. There are some risks and there are some downsides, okay? So just really quickly, keep this in mind as you're going through this. Now, I know this tool is going to evolve over time and it's going to be amazing, but there is a cutoff date for the knowledge base. So I believe they've said it was like 2021. Who knows? That could change tomorrow, okay? That's how fast AI changes and moves. But there is a cutoff date for the knowledge base. So some of the newer resume writing trends or some of the things like that we teach you, it might not have that information yet, okay? The other thing is it isn't always correct. Like, for example, I was asking it, just probing some questions, and it said to place personal hobbies on a resume. You never want to place personal hobbies on a resume, okay? And then the other thing is I was asking it something last night. It had a spelling error. And then I said, wait, you spelled that word wrong. And it was like, no, I didn't spell that word wrong. And then I typed the word in and it said, oh yeah, sorry, I did spell that word wrong. So just take it with a grain of salt. It's sort of spooky when you first use it because you're like, wow, like what is this? But the more you understand it and give it questions for your situation, the better it can help you. The other thing I want you to remember is that information can be generic. So all the prompts and all the things that it's giving me to put on resumes sometimes and to like if I ask it to rewrite something, sometimes it's generic. So you gotta be careful with that as well. And then the last thing is it cannot form or share experiences. So that's where that personal interaction or those personal substitutes, those personal stories, there is no substitute for that. Okay. So keep that in mind, you guys, as you go through and start learning about Chat GPT or try out another AI software. Now, really quick, what is your biggest takeaway from today? We covered so much ground, you guys. I still have resumes to review, which I'm going to jump into in just a second, and questions if you have any. So what is your biggest aha moment from today? Okay, so while you guys are typing that in, you're probably here. So most of you are here at this training because your current job search strategy isn't working. You're actually getting rejections more than anything else. You've maybe sent your resume to multiple companies, but you're still not getting the interviews that you hoped for, maybe even for positions that you thought were the perfect fit, okay? You might even be starting to second guess yourself, like your experience and your skills, and maybe you're wondering, oh, do I need like more training? Like what's going on, okay? Or maybe you're just overwhelmed by the entire process. And you're trying to build momentum in this job search. Now, what I've shared with you guys today, none of this is like magic or a secret. Well, okay, I do say that I have secret special sauces for this job search thing, but these are proven concepts that my clients and my students have used to do amazing things. So I want to ask you guys another question. How would you like all the templates, the trainings, the resources, and the instructions for every single part of your job search process? So I'm talking about your professionally designed resume templates and examples, your essential cover letter templates and examples, your critical interview techniques and templates, LinkedIn profile and networking templates and techniques. All the strategies that my clients and students have done to do things like land multiple job offers or land job offers making 2 times their income, and even land job offers at Fortune 500's top 10 companies. I know I mentioned this earlier. We've been able to help people land amazing interviews and job offers at Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, Disney, JP Morgan, General Electric. I can't even keep it straight anymore. We get stories every week about people that are landing work that they actually love. So I want to invite you guys to join me inside of our very brand new program, Resume Mastery Pro. So this is a very special, I'm going to call this an inaugural because we've never given this offer before. We don't think it's ever going to be priced this low again for a 2-day flash sale for Resume Mastery Pro. Resume Mastery Pro is a comprehensive resume writing course where you'll learn expert techniques for writing a winning resume. This is where it's time for you to apply an interview with confidence. Let me share with you guys a couple success stories from people that have used these same techniques inside the program. Colton landed not 1, but 2 dream jobs. Tracy turned her internship into a full-time permanent position. So she goes on to say, Heather's resources helped me land an interview for a web developer internship. And then she goes, and my internship recently offered me a full-time position. I'm so elated. And then she also switched careers. So not only are we helping recent grads, we're helping people that are switching careers, okay? Here's what happened with Kevin. He actually received a job offer from every interview. He says, finally got a job offer thanks to Heather and all of her help. In fact, every interview I had, I received an offer from. And here's what happened with Anne. She landed her dream job with desired salary and great benefits. She goes on to say, I got my official letter from the interview. I know the salary will be in my desired range with lots of good benefits. She says, thanks so much, Heather. I've gotten my dream job. So I want to share with you guys really quickly what's inside of Resume Mastery Pro. So we are taking every little section of your resume and we're dissecting it, okay? So this is where you're going to learn all those critical key sections. We're also going to talk about supplemental sections. So if you guys remember back to step 2, I believe it was, where we talked about the different sections that you can add into your resume, we dive deep into these and how to write each of them to the T, okay? We talk about the proper design and formatting of your resume for maximum impact, how to craft those results-driven achievement statements. So I actually have, I think the lesson's like a 10-minute lesson just on your achievement statements, okay? We also talk about tailoring your resume, so we dive deep into techniques for that. And then we go even deeper into how to conquer the ATS and make your resume ATS friendly. Now, we've included some bonus lessons, and this is based on feedback that we've gotten from you guys and just other things that you need. We have a bonus lesson where we talk about those special case scenarios. We go deep into if you have employment gaps, what you're going to say, if you have a career change. We also talk about, or we have a lesson dedicated to someone with little or no work experience. We have a lesson dedicated, and this is one thing that we heard a lot from you guys, how to write an academic curriculum vitae or an academic CV, because that's a totally different experience than writing a corporate resume, okay? And then we've added, because Chat GPT is my new boyfriend, we've added how to use artificial intelligence to write your resume. So what I shared with you guys today, we go even deeper into the proper questions, how to make sure you're filling the content properly, how to make sure you're not just copying and pasting from Chat GPT, okay? So we dive deep into that in our bonus lesson. Now, inside of Resume Mastery Pro, we also are giving you all the templates and examples that you need to write basically any resume depending on your situation, okay? So this is where you're going to unlock the full potential of your resume with our exclusive collection of professionally designed templates and examples, okay? And by the way, I will say again, my resume template is my secret sauce, you guys. Now, not only do you guys get this inside of Resume Mastery Pro, but I have a couple free gifts that I want to throw in there for you. So we have a cover letter workshop and workbook where you're going to discover the power of persuasion and how to turn your cover letter into a compelling sales pitch, okay? Because that's what it is. This is packed with 5 expert-led lessons where you're going to learn the secrets to standing out and landing your dream job. That's free gift number 1. Well, free gift number 2 is our job interview confidence training. This is where you're going to uncover the keys to acing your next job interview. This features 5 power-packed lessons to help you outshine the competition. And by the way, this also comes with a guide as well to help you with those more difficult interview questions. We talk about managing nerves. We talk about crafting answers to popular questions, behavioral-based questions, what questions to ask during an interview. So that bonus training encompasses quite a few things. Okay, I have some VIP bonuses as well, you guys. So the first VIP bonus is our most popular. This is probably like I have 4 kids. I'm going to call this my 5th kid, my 5th kid, my 5th baby. The Career Advancement Toolkit is our most popular resource. This is instructions and guides and lessons for pretty much every single part of the job search process. It's a one-of-a-kind resource. There's nothing else out there like it. That is included inside our Resume Mastery Pro program today. We also have our bonus number 2, which is our LinkedIn Profile Essentials Starter Pack. So this is where you're going to really write a show-stopping headline and summary. You also have access to our networking, all of our networking templates, from requesting informational interviews. Oh my gosh, we have so many in there. Asking for an endorsement, asking for a recommendation, following up with a potential recruiter, reaching out to a recruiter. We have all those templates inside of our LinkedIn Essentials Starter Pack. Bonus number 3 is you're going to master your job search. So this is feedback that we got from a lot of our previous clients and students. They just needed something to help them keep track of their job search. So we've created a brand new resource where you actually will keep track of important information about your job, who you've interviewed with, what phase you are in the interview process, who the hiring manager is, who your inside contact is, have you followed up? All that amazing stuff is also in here. Now, I do have 2 fast action bonuses. We have never done 2 fast action bonuses before, but I wanted to make sure you guys have everything you need inside this one program, okay? Our very first fast action bonus, and this goes to the first 20 people to enroll in Resume Mastery Pro, will get a 60-minute career coaching consultation. It's an invite-only link to a group session with me and my team where you can come, join us, ask us questions. We help you work through some of your most challenging career issues right now, okay? So that's our fast action bonus number 1. Again, this goes to the first 20 people. We also have fast action bonus number 2 that the first 20 people will get a personalized resume review. So this is a detailed analysis of your resume with customized feedback on how to strengthen and improve your resume, okay? I do ask that you go through the content inside of Resume Mastery Pro and then submit your information because it will make it that much better of an experience. So this will go to the first 20 people to enroll. Now, look, you guys, the total value of everything in this program, so we're talking lessons, templates, trainings, guides, resources, all the stuff in here is 6,223, okay? Everything in here, that is the total value of everything in here. But let me tell you guys, we are giving this to you guys today for just $297, okay? So just $297 today is your investment for the program. We will price this normally at $597, maybe even higher. This is our inaugural, very first time that we've given this offer out. So the price is probably going to be the lowest we've ever seen it. So your investment today is $297. Don't miss out. If you start now, you'll save 50% off the full price. Again, this flash offer, as well as the replay for this resume writing masterclass, expires on February 2nd. Okay. February 2nd is when this expires. So don't miss out. I want you to get that savings in there today. Now, you're probably wondering, where do I go to get started? So go to heatheraustin.online/live offer. Tori will also pop the link into the chat. And I'll pop the link in as well, and I'll pin it to the very top so that you guys have access to that. You could just go to heatheraustin.online/live offer. Let me hurry and pin this. And you guys will have that at the very top of your screen. Now, here's the cool thing. You'll enter a secure checkout. You can either use PayPal or a credit card, which, yes, we do accept PayPal. A lot of people don't accept PayPal, but let me tell you, my husband is a computer whiz and he connected it for me. So we have PayPal or credit card. Go to heatheraustin.online/live offer. Before we jump into resume reviews, I want to share a couple more stories with you guys. So Erin found her dream job and increased her pay. She says, your resume, your cover letter, and interview guidance successfully helped me to receive 2 job offers, okay? Here's the interesting thing about Erin. She says, I applied to only 2 jobs, okay? She didn't go out and apply to 20, 30, 40. I've heard someone wrote me the other day that said, I've applied for 800 jobs. I'm like, what? Anyway, so 2 full-time jobs, she applied to 2. She got the job offers. She says that she had only been working part-time in her industry for 10 years. So she was concerned that she would have a hard time finding a job with only part-time work, but she ended up finding her dream job. She increased her pay. She says, most importantly, work in the area which I find rewarding. I truly believe it was your method and guidance and teaching that led me to successfully receiving these 2 job offers, okay? Here's what happened with Heather. She says, I landed a job. Your resume and cover letter advice helped me get interviews with almost every company I submitted to and an offer that was well above the salary range. So when you guys go out and apply for these jobs, I don't want you to be stuck on, oh, it's only paying this, because most of the time when people come in and they use our resources and they are inspired and led and guided, it's so much easier for them to go in and actually ask for more money, and they have more confidence, and the company's like, hey, we want to hire you and we want to pay you more because of that confidence that they exude, okay? So it's not just about necessarily the paycheck, but When you have that confidence, it's so much easier to land a job. So Nicholas wrote in, and actually he's the one that said over 800 resumes. Nicholas wrote in and says, I refined my LinkedIn profile, rewrote my resume, and practiced my interview questions. I received 2 job offers in the same week. He says, thanks to your program, I was able to tactily approach my job search and find my dream job. Okay, Ellen wrote in. She also said, I had no resume or cover letter to tell my career story. She says, I was really struggling with how to share my skills in an authentic and qualitative, sorry you guys, this is when I need my glasses again. Qualitative fashion. She said, I used your free template to start, but then she later purchased the Career Advancement Toolkit to revamp my cover letter, LinkedIn profile, and the spring of this year. She says, with your help, I was able to get the interview, present my career in a digestible way, and I even negotiated a hire-on bonus. And she says, my take-home pay has doubled. So I know that you guys want to see success like these folks. I hope you're going to join us inside of Resume Mastery Pro. Here's what happened with Jason. He says, he landed 7 to 8 interviews a week. So he says, this content has been really amazing. I tweaked my resume and cover letter based on the content. The past 2 weeks have been nuts. I have 7 to 8 interviews a week. Now, let me just recap with you guys really quickly what's inside of Resume Mastery Pro. Again, this is our inaugural offer. We've never presented this out online. Today's the very first time you guys are seeing this. It's a 2-day flash offer. You'll have 12 information-packed resume writing video lessons. You also have access to 4 essential bonus video lessons with templates. Our career experts, proven resume templates and examples, the free gift number 1, which is your bonus cover letter workshop and workbook, free gift number 2, which is your job interview training lessons with your guide. Of course, VIP bonus number 1, which is the Career Advancement Toolkit. VIP bonus number 2 is your LinkedIn Profile Essentials Starter Pack. VIP bonus number 3, master your job search with our job search tracker. And then, of course, the 2 fast action bonuses, which I'm thinking these will be gone today. We haven't ever put this offer out here, but at the price point that it is, I'm not surprised if these fast action bonuses will be gone today. The first 20 people to enroll will get a 60-minute group coaching consultation with me. And by the way, I don't have my calendar. I have a paper calendar. I know that's really, and my phone fell on the floor. It will be sometime in February. So you'll want to make sure, and I'll send you all the details about it with links and how to join that invite-only call. And then, of course, a personalized resume review. Now, again, you guys, everything inside of this program is worth $6,223. The normal price is $597, but today and for the next couple of days during our flash offer, you can get the program with everything that I have put in here for $297. We have never put an offer out like this ever. So if you guys are on the fence with your job search, you're struggling, you're not sure what the next step is, maybe you were recently laid off. Maybe you're about to get laid off. Maybe you're hating your job and you're ready to make a change. And you haven't updated your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile. You haven't been on an interview in a really long time. You're wanting to know the latest and the greatest to make it all happen. Think back to all of those stories that I shared earlier. If you guys are ready for that, I highly recommend that you invest in Resume Mastery Pro. Again, all you need to do is go to heatheraustin.online/live offer. Here's what happened with Terry. He says, your guidance helped me polish up my LinkedIn, rev up my resume, and helped me ace the interview to get a fabulous job offer for a position that I will really enjoy. He says, and I'm a 57-year-old fossil who is 10 years out of the job search market. I couldn't have done it without you. So, and Terry's a power engineer. I love Terry. So you guys, go to heatheraustin.online to grab Resume Mastery Pro. We are going to review resumes in just a second here. Let me just see. And then also questions. If you guys have any questions, pop those in. Okay, someone did ask, is this separate from the Academy? Yes. So here's the thing. There is a resume writing course inside of the Academy. This is a a brand new, in fact, my team is uploading, there's a couple lessons they're still uploading to the learning management or the community platform right now. That's how new this is. Like I'm talking, we were like late in the night editing, and I had the editor sending me videos. We were piecing all of this together. This is a brand new course. We've never introduced it before. It's totally separate from the academy. Someone mentions, I have the Career Advancement Toolkit. I love it. How is Resume Mastery Pro different? So Resume Mastery Pro is a totally different program. So this is a brand new, specialized, comprehensive course that goes into detail into every single section of your resume. And here's the other cool thing. I don't even know if I have a slide that mentioned this. You guys have lifetime access to Resume Mastery Pro. So if we update the lessons, or when, I shouldn't say if, but when we update the lessons, or if I add a new template in there, or if I add a new resource, like, with artificial intelligence, I'm like, we need to add a lesson about how to use this because it's such a groundbreaking tool. And there's so many ways that you could actually use it as a job seeker. So we've added that in there. So anytime we add new lessons, you'll have access to those. So so lifetime access, I should have mentioned that earlier. Okay, awesome. I'm so happy to see we've got Patty who has joined us inside of Resume Mastery Pro. Patty, you are going to be part of our first 20 people. Again, you guys remember, I'm assuming that we will have the first 20 will be gone by today. Helen, so happy to see that you joined us in Resume Mastery Pro as well. Happy to have you. And I'm going to jump into resume reviews in just a second. Carl's joined us inside of Resume Mastery Pro. Happy to have you in there, Carl. Okay, let me do some resume reviews really quick here. Let me decrease my slides and get these resumes out because I want to go through these. We by the way had hundreds of resumes submitted for this. So this was a hard one, but I picked some and we're gonna run with it. Let me show you guys really quickly. I'm gonna share one more screen with you before I jump into these resume reviews. Okay, so this is the page. If you guys go to heatheraustin.online/live offer, or if you click the link inside of the chat or in the description below this video, this is the page that you're going to go to. You can scroll through, you can read the success stories of our students and our clients. You can, you'll be able to see like some amazing content that we've put together. You'll be able to look at what's actually inside of the program. So again, make sure you do that. You'll also be able to check out using PayPal or a credit card. It is a secure checkout process. So keep that in mind as you go to that page. All right, let's jump into, let me switch my screen here again. Let's jump into, I'm going to put some Carmex on my lips. They're getting a little bit dry. Resume reviews. Okay. You guys should see the first resume. Okay, give me a yes if this has been helpful for you guys. Type into the chat a big yes if this has been helpful. And if you learned something today, which I know you did, because I know that using artificial intelligence is a new concept. And yes. Yay. So happy to see you guys joining us in Resume Mastery Pro. And Tori, feel free to pop any questions. Me and Tori share a document together where we type notes to each other. I'm happy to answer questions too about anything else that folks might have a question about. Okay, let's jump into this very first resume. So what I did, because sometimes these resume review shows last 2 hours, and what I did to prepare is I went in and just gave some notes on this just to make it go a little bit faster. So first of all, this very first resume, we'll kind of talk about what I like, and then we'll talk about what needs to change here. And by the way, the people that I chose, I did send you an email and said, hey, I'm reviewing your resume. So hopefully that's not a surprise to see your resume up here. So the very first thing I remember when I looked at this is there was not a custom LinkedIn URL at the top in your contact information. So I'd make sure you put that up there. So it was a LinkedIn URL, but it wasn't customized, meaning, let me show you the master copy of the resume example that I share inside the course. Let's see, can I highlight this? Let me see if this will let me highlight it. So notice Sally Smith, her LinkedIn URL is just Sally Smith. A lot of times people will have like Sally Smith -123 ABC. We'd want to take out any digits or numbers on the actual LinkedIn profile. So you have to go in and customize. Okay. So that you just go to your circle. And then I think it's like edit public profile and URL. And then you go in and you give yourself a custom LinkedIn URL. So that's just my very first thing for here. The other thing I'd love to see you do on this resume, the name is taking up too much in space at the top. I want it flat, okay? So meaning I want it like in 2 lines. So notice Sally Smith, her name's on 1 line. I have a line or horizontal line right underneath, and then I have the contact information. That's what I want you to do. So anyone else that I'm looking at your resume today, it all needs to be like laid out, okay? Not stacked one upon another. Now, I do like that you have your title. That's awesome. I do like that you also have your 3 key skills. I think that's really smart. I would take it out of the italics, okay? I don't want to see it in italics. And I would maybe even bold it. In fact, I would even recommend using a different font. I know this is a Times New Roman font. Times New Roman is a safe font, but I've actually been liking Cambria. So if you look at this resume template, this is inside of Resume Mastery Pro. The Cambria font is, I just like it better. It's something different than Times New Roman. I get sick of looking at Times New Roman, so I would change up the font as well. Now, let me see, what did I mention here? Oh, okay. I actually redid this statement for you. I wanted it to be I wanted it to have a little bit more oomph to it. Okay. So with your summary, I like that you have highly skilled professional, but again, that's so generic, meaning like I could put that on my resume. Tim could put that on his resume. Catherine could put that on her resume. I want it to be very specific to the job. And I would say, go back to when I mentioned earlier, when we talked about the summary, go back to where you can add your adjectives inside and give me some of those. So for example, in our example, it has reliable, energetic, and resourceful. Well, those are in the job description. Do you have a job description that you can look at and you can pull words into? So I would say to do that. And then if you're here, the person whose resume this is, not to give away details, what I would love to see you do is take a screenshot. I think you can see the comment that pops up. Oh, there it is. Okay. Take a screenshot of this and redo your, well, let me open it up in this view because unless my face is in the way. Okay, here it is. So I want you to screenshot this and I want you to redo your summary similar to what I have here. Okay, so this is like your revised summary. Just to make it a little bit more impactful, okay? Now, the next thing that I wanted to recommend here on this is I don't love the skills up here at the top. I actually want to see your, and don't get me wrong, I'm gonna address this in a second. I would love to see your professional experience come to the top more because this is great, technology certifications, accomplishments, yada, yada, yada. But I would love to see you bring that work experience up. And I don't know, we haven't had a one-on-one conversation, but I'm assuming the reason why it's pushed down a little bit more is because employment ended on October of 2022. So I can see that, but one thing that you can do to prevent from this becoming a distraction is turn this now into a professional career highlights section. So the way that you have the skills written right now, it's not giving me any clear indication of what you've done in the past so that I know what you're capable of in the future. Okay. So for example, I just wrote a statement in here. Take a screenshot of this I think you can see it. Sorry, I can't see my face always on the screen. Oh shoot, that's not popping up for you. But let me open up my comments box again. So you should see that right here. So I'm giving you an example of, and this is just an example. By the way, it's not what you'd put, but notice I'm now turning these into results-driven achievement statements. So rather than saying attention to detail regarding all aspects of insurance and financial accounts, we're now going to say something like consistently maintained accuracy rates of 99% or higher in managing insurance and financial accounts through meticulous attention to detail. So notice how we just turned like a blanket statement now into like a results oriented achievement statement. Okay. So I would love to see you redo this section and actually turn these all into, not all, because I only want to see 3 to 4 bullet points, and then bring the work experience up if that makes sense. And then after the work experience, I would love to see the rest of this, like technology, certifications, all of that's going to go under the work experience. And rather than saying technology, I want to see that named technical skills. And then I can't remember the education. Okay. And I would say you could even put, I generally like to have education and then certifications and then technical skills and then awards. So I would do it in that order. I can kind of see what you're doing here though. Accomplishments. This almost reminds me of the accomplishments that we would put at the top, like your career highlights section. So I would figure out a way to integrate those into the skills and make a nice section for highlights. Let me just show you what I mean, because the template just shows you exactly how to do it. This is going to be your summary, and then your highlights, your career highlights are going to be right below that. Now, let me make a note about core competencies, because I know I've had questions about this in the past. I like this section. However, if you're an experienced professional, like if you have 20 years or 15 or even 10 years of experience, you don't necessarily need this section, because what you want to have happen is you want the hiring manager or recruiter to see your resume, see the top part right away, and then you want them to get into work experience as quick as possible, because you have so much to offer in your work experience that you're distracting them by having the core competencies on there. This is a great section, however, for someone that is switching careers, someone that has employment gaps, someone that might not have the track record of 10 years in the industry, right? Because this is what will help them get through certain applicant tracking systems, and it helps their resume stand out just a little bit more, okay? So keep that in mind as you're writing your resume. I would love resume number 1 to see you inside of Resume Mastery Pro using this template and using the resources and the tools that I teach you, because you're going to go from this to something more like this, and it's going to match exactly where you're going, what position you're applying for, and it's actually probably ultimately at the end of the day going to increase your job interviews and help you land a better job offer. So, and you know what? It's going to increase your confidence, which is like a big thing. Okay, the next thing I wanted to mention here, I know I have a couple more resumes to jump into. Place your contact information at the top, okay? So I don't see any name for anyone your name or your phone number. So make sure you put that in there. And I would also love to see your dates. Let me just show you guys a quick example of dates. I would love to see your dates written in this format. You can do the date spelled or the month spelled out, but I like the digits I think it helps also for ATS. It's easier for ATS to read the digits in this format. So I would pop them into that format. Hopefully you guys can see all that. And then the other thing I would do is make sure you look at each of these statements on your resume. And if you are, like, for example, it says selling and managing senior life care policies. I would love to know how many policies, what was your close rate? Was there a satisfaction rating that you got at the end? Give me the tools you used. Did you use your persuasion skills? Did you give me a full statement? And I want to see that on every single bullet point. Okay, type into the chat, you guys. Just type a yes if this is making sense. If this is beneficial for you to see these resumes and to kind of see the feedback that I'm giving, and if it's helping you in any way make your resume better. So type yes into the chat. And I'm going to see really quickly if we have any other questions that I should be answering. Awesome. Someone says, does the core competency section need to have the header? I have a lot of teaching experience, but I'm changing careers. So should I keep this section in? Yes, I think if you're changing careers, so let me go back to our master resume example here. I like having the headline because it helps me break up the information. You could, let's say for example though, that you're on 2 pages, right? And it's squeezing onto a 3rd page and you need one extra line of text, then you could take that title out, right? But other than that, I would say keep it in and experiment with what it looks like without it being in there. But I like it in there because it helps me, especially as someone that looks at so many resumes, it helps me, it guides my eye through the resume. So yeah. Good. Okay. So glad that you guys are finding value in this. Yes. Human resource unknown says somewhat. I love it. Kevin says yes. Lavonda says yes. Joanna says yes. Taryn, yes. Good. Okay, you guys remember also we have our first 20 people who will have access to our fast action bonus for Resume Mastery Pro. Make sure you guys go to heatheraustin.online/live offer to grab that. Okay, let's jump into our second resume. So in our second resume, I actually like the formatting of this. There's a few different things that I want to just mention in here. Your name and contact information, I think that's formatted fine. I can't remember if you had your LinkedIn URL on here. Make sure you do. So again, at the very top, you're going to have your custom LinkedIn URL. Okay, so make sure you get that on there. And then from here, customer service representative, make sure again that that's the exact title that you're applying for. And then when we look at the 3 key skills, so I actually have a note that says enhance your 3 key skills. So when we say MS Office, people skills, and client relation, I'm not opposed to, but people skills to me is so generic, and MS Office to me, it's everyone should already have that. Everyone should already have MS Office and people skills. So I would say get really specific with what those skills are that are required for this position, and I would put those in there. So just make them a little bit better. The other thing I want you to keep in mind with this resume is your use of white space. So for example, I love how you have it structured with your summary and then you have your career highlights. That's amazing. But what I would caution you to do or look at is notice you have the word times on one line. Okay, that's taking up a whole entire line. You never want to do that. If you're going to have one word on a line, you've got to extend it so it's at least coming to the middle of the line, like what you've done on bullet point number 2. But other than that, I think it's okay. We don't want one line there. So think about how can you revise this where you can either eliminate a word or just make it shorter or whatnot so it's on one line. The other thing I would love to see you do, and I put an example in here. Let me open up my comments box and you can screenshot this. Let's see. One thing I would like to see you do is I want to see these more like quantifiable, right? So I'm not seeing like real quantifiable achievements in here. You're talking about them, but can you put like numbers and data to this? So I just threw this in as a quick example. This may or may not be this may or may not relate to you, but it's you can adjust these numbers to make it how you want. So let me see if I can highlight this on the left-hand side, or excuse me, right-hand side. Can you guys see this? So I'm just saying, here's an example. Consistently received high marks from customers with a satisfaction rate of 95% or above, by delivering exceptional customer service with professionalism and courtesy in every interaction, okay? So notice how we now take this from just a general statement, and now we're turning it into a quantifiable achievement, okay? So that's what I wanted you to do with all of your bullet points there. Okay, the other thing I wanted you to do is add month and year. So I'm not sure why you have on here just the month, or excuse me, just the years, but I would love to see the month and the year. Again, very similar to what we have inside of our template. Let me increase so you guys can see this a little bit better. Give me the month and the year rather than just the year. Okay, here's another thing. And again, I'm not going to go through every statement, but another example of what I wanted you to do in terms of turning these into quantifiable achievements. Again, when you guys have these bullet points on your resume, I want you to evaluate every single one. And I want you to look at every single one and say, how can I make this better? How can I really demonstrate the task that I completed or that I'm doing, and what the result was of that task? So that's really how I want you to look at this. So again, here's another way, or a better way to write this, because you're saying arrive half an hour before the first scheduled booking to prepare. I want it to sound a little bit more like a formal resume. Okay. So instead say consistently arrived up to 45 minutes. By the way, take a screenshot of this on the right-hand side. I have it highlighted. Consistently arrived up to 45 minutes prior to the first scheduled booking to ensure a safe and ready to use field, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So we're now turning that into like more of an achievement statement that they can really measure, and they can really see the result of. Okay. Let's see if there was anything else. I think there was something down here. Yes. Okay. I would love to see your volunteer experience come before your education. So I want to see work experience, then volunteer experience, then education, then technical skills. And then on technical skills, I'm going to mention this to anyone who has a technical skills section. What I want you to think about is ordering the skills to be the most important skill to that job first. Okay. So let's say, for example, they needed you to use Publisher and Microsoft Project. I want to see you place that before you place Word, Excel, Outlook. Okay. I would also want to see you, let me make another note on technical skills. I want to see some other skills from you, which I know you have, like not just Office or Google Docs or whatnot. Like, let's talk about like, your Zoom experience. Do you have experience with Slack? Do you have experience, like what other things can we add in here to really show your technical ability, and not just with like your general day-to-day Office or desktop products, okay? If that makes sense. Yes. Okay. I've got one more resume to review. Let me just jump in. I want to show you guys our slide again really quickly, heatheraustin.online/live offer. Make sure you go there if you want to be the first 20 to enroll in Resume Mastery Pro. This is a brand new program that we are introducing to the public. It's different than anything else we've ever done. This is our inaugural offer. So we don't know when this program will be priced this low again. So again, make sure you go there. Let me see where we are with questions. Someone asked, how do you show transitions when you want to go into a different career? Okay, so I guess when you're asking how do you show transitions, it probably should be, I guess, explaining the transition, right? So I actually just wrote an entire lesson on this inside of our Resume Mastery Pro course, but I'll kind of give you like the general overview of what you're going to emphasize or do in your resume. So normally you're focusing on like any skills that are transferable, that are good in one job and good in another. Okay. And how can you bring those to the light? Now, of course, the way that, and I do have a special template just for career switchers and folks with employment gaps, but the one thing that you can do is you can mention anything that you need to at the top of your resume in your summary, or you can really focus on your transferable skills in your career highlight section. Okay. So again, what you're really trying to do is show them that, hey, even though like I've spent this much time in this industry, I'm now switching to this new industry, and here's why, and here's what I can bring to the table. Okay. Now in my Resume Mastery Pro course, I explain how you want to address this in like an email that you send to someone, right? Or you want to address it in maybe your cover letter or your LinkedIn profile or in your cover letter. And I give you an exact example of what to say. Like it's a step-by-step template that says, I'm switching careers. Here's where I'm going. Here's what I'm doing. Here's why I am of value. So again, we're really bringing it out, not just in the resume, but in our other interactions with a networking contact, in a cover letter, in an interview, that kind of stuff. Okay, let's jump into our third resume. So again, here we go with, I like the format. I like that you have your summary at the top, your listing core competencies, and then you're jumping right into work experience. I think that's good. Education, technical skills. So you've done a lot of the right things. I would say double check your font. I'm not loving the font. I would jump into a Cambria, just like I have in the resume template, or experiment with some other fonts. It's a simple font. It's not bad, but again, we want to add just a little bit more interest. Okay. The other thing that I would do is you didn't have your LinkedIn URL up here, so I would make sure you include the LinkedIn URL. I would really evaluate your 3 key skills, and I would be really, really, really specific with those. So you have leadership, client service, and problem solve, which I'm wondering if you were meaning problem solving. What I would do here is I would get really specific with those, like leadership, anyone could pretty much put on there. Problem solving, anyone could put on there. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. Put key skills that really only someone in that position would possess. Okay. So for example, if we go back to our template, I have revenue growth, market penetration, and leadership training. Not everyone can do that. Okay. That's very specific to the job. So I want to see you do something very specific where it relates totally to the job. Okay. The other thing I would love to see you do is I would love to see you structure this in a way where you're giving us the adjectives again that describe the administrative services manager. Okay. So again, going back to our example, we have reliable, energetic, and resourceful. What are you and what are those things that they're looking for in their ideal candidate? And I want you to put that at the very front rather than just led 12 administrative support staff. Okay. Like talk about the skills and the adjectives that explain what a good leader is, okay? And then you can go into ability to, expertise in, and that kind of thing. With your core competency section, I would love to see this in a list format. So again, you're kind of giving us like a sentence structure. I would love to see, if you are listing this, some sort of list. Okay. And again, in the example, you'll notice that I place a vertical line in between each core competency. That's one way you could do it. But here's the thing with your resume, I almost wonder if you could pop some professional highlights up here, adjust your spacing so that your name goes closer to the top, like decrease that margin, decrease the spacing between your contact information and the title, because there's a lot of space right there. I was going to see if I could write on the screen here. I guess I better learn how to use Acrobat tools better so I could write on the screen and show you what I'm talking about. And then the other thing I wanted to mention here is you have one position. I would love to see, is there any way you could break that up to show a progression, right? So it support assistant, but over that time, because I noticed you were in that position for quite a while, over time, did your responsibilities change in some way? And maybe your title wasn't an official change, but maybe it was in a way where you could say, you were in one position and then over time you moved into another position and split those up a little bit. I would really like to see you do that. And then I would love to see you pull all of this together onto one page, because listing education, technical skills, and language competencies at the bottom here, it doesn't take up a full 2 pages, which in that case, we don't want to use a second page, okay? If you can add stuff to take up a full second page, like maybe you have professional memberships you can add, maybe you have volunteer experience you can add, you could do a 2-page with the amount of experience that you have. But at the same time, if you don't want to go into that level of detail, you could also have a nice 1-page resume, but it just needs to be structured a little bit differently. See if you can break up this position. If you can show progression, that would be really the best thing. I think that would really enhance your resume. And if you even needed to, you could take out the core competency section. That's not necessarily a section that you need to have if you're trying to get everything up there. I still like technical skills, education. You could even remove language competencies. So hopefully that helps and gives you a good idea of what you need to do to improve that resume. Okay, I'm going to show you guys this page one last time, and then I'm going to do a last call for questions. Let me know if you guys have any questions. So again, if you go to heatheraustin.online, you'll notice our Resume Mastery Pro enrollment page. You can scroll through that page, look at the testimonials, look at the exact lessons and what's inside each lesson. Again, I think the biggest thing for this program at this point in time is, of course, all of the bonuses and the free gifts that we are adding to the program. We've never loaded up a program with this much stuff. So again, take advantage of that while it's there for you guys. We have a 2-day flash offer with our replay that will last 2 days. So jump in and watch this if you need to over the next couple of days. Last minute questions. Let me just see where we are at. If we have any last minute questions. Someone asked, should you keep bullets to 3 or 4 for work experience? So what I'm thinking you're asking is, per work experience, do you have 3 to 4 bullet points? I like that equation if you had to go with one. What I do like to see, however, is I like to see more of an emphasis on your most recent position. So you might have a case where, let's say you have 3 or 4 positions listed and your more recent one has 5 bullet points, okay? And then your other ones might have 3 or 4. That's totally okay. I wouldn't worry necessarily about how many per work experience. It's more of how that information displays. Now, if we did go back, I do remember, that reminds me, on our very first resume, let me just pop this up here really quick so you guys can see this again. I didn't love that there were only like a couple bullet points per position. If you're going to list a position and you're going to tell me what that position is, give me a really amazing bullet point. Tell me what the task was that you completed and what the result was of that task, and make it a good full line of text. It could even go into 2 lines of text if you needed it to. But I'm not a big fan of just listing a few little things here and there because it doesn't tell me anything. Give me a really good statement about that. So hopefully that answers your question for that. Awesome. Someone else asked, does the headline need to be the title you are applying for or your current job title? Good question. Definitely the title of the position you're applying for. Okay, that is a really easy way to tailor your resume, to say, this is the job I'm looking for. Here are my 3 key skills that support that job. And here's my amazing summary, and then my work experience, and voila, call me in for an interview because I'm ready. And by the way, you guys, when you structure your resume and you take the time to really properly build it out, it increases your confidence more than you can know. Like if I were to pinpoint of all of our clients and our students that use this strategy, they all have had that same experience no matter what. Like before they used the strategy and they weren't getting resume or they weren't getting interviews and offers. The only thing that changed is that they were able to now structure their career story, like their narrative. They were able to put it on paper in a nice, easy to read format. And then when they went into the interview, their confidence level was so much higher, which in turn is what ended up landing them the job. Okay. So again, like it's all in the presentation. Like for example, if I come and I present to you guys online and I'm like in a t-shirt and my grubbies and I'm not ready, like my confidence level isn't as high, right? So when you're thinking about, and again, think back to that reference I shared with you about Beyonce and Sasha Fierce, okay? If your resume summary looks like Sasha Fierce going on stage or your resume in total, then you have so much more confidence going to an interview or having a phone screen interview and talking about yourself and then having to later on negotiate your salary. Like it's all building blocks that add up, and it starts with your resume and then you go from there. And by the way, inside of Resume Mastery Pro, with all the resources that we have inside the program, plus the free gifts and the bonuses, you're going to learn almost every part of the structure to get you to that next level. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Any last minute questions? I know we had some awesome ones coming in. Thank you guys so much for coming to today's live stream. Remember, you have a couple of days to catch the replay. And we will be online again in a matter of weeks with another workshop, I'm sure. And I would love to see you guys here. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, if you have not yet hit the thumbs up on this video, do it. I normally ask you guys to do that at the beginning. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done that. And I will see you guys in the next video or during the next live stream. We'll be in touch.